Imagine you're flipping through an old photo album, the kind with slightly yellowed pages that smell faintly of time, and you stumble across a snapshot that stops you cold. It's not just any photo, it's a moment frozen in time, raw and unfiltered, capturing something real. That's what it feels like to uncover Shen Yu's unseen audition tape, a director's cut that's been tucked away like a hidden gem in the vaults of Chinese entertainment history. This isn't just a reel of film, it's a portal into the early days of a star who would go on to charm millions with her girl next door vibe and undeniable talent. So, grab a seat, maybe a cup of tea, and let's dive into this story together, as if we're unspooling the tape ourselves frame by frame, to see how Shen Yu became the Shen Yu we know today. Picture this. It's 2017, and Shen Yu, a 20-year-old journalism student from Hunan Normal University, is just another face in the crowd. She's not yet the household name associated with a love so beautiful or Meteor Garden. Back then, she was a college sophomore, more likely to be found scribbling notes in a lecture hall than standing in front of a camera. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. A photographer friend snaps a picture of her, posts it online, and suddenly, the internet takes notice. That photo, probably a candid shot of her laughing or maybe just staring thoughtfully into the distance, catches the eye of an agent. It's the kind of serendipity that feels scripted, but for Shen Yu it was real. That moment led her to an audition room, where she stood, nervous but determined, ready to prove herself for a role that would change her life. Chen Xiaoxi in A Love So Beautiful. Now, let's hit play on this unseen audition tape. You're there in the room with her, the air thick with anticipation. The director's cut, unlike the polished final products we're used to, is raw, unscripted in the best way. The camera's a little shaky, the lighting isn't perfect, and Shen Yu's standing there in borrowed clothes, her hair freshly permed in a dorm room by a friend named Xiaowen. She's not trying to be a star, she's just trying to nail the scene. There's something electric about it, like watching a musician play an acoustic set before they hit the big stage. You can almost feel her nerves through the screen, but there's a spark in her eyes, a quiet confidence that says she knows she belongs here, even if she doesn't fully believe it yet. What's so special about this tape? It's not just Shen Yu reading lines, it's the little moments in between. The way she fidgets with her hands when the director asks her to slate her name. The slight giggle that escapes when she flubs a line and asks to start over. The way her face lights up when she nails a scene, like she's surprising even herself. These are the details that don't make it into the final cut of a drama, but tell you everything about who she was at that moment. A young woman on the cusp of something big, unaware of how her life was about to shift. If you could pause the tape right there, what would you say to her? Would you tell her she's about to become a sensation across Asia? Or would you just let her keep going, unaware of the storm of fame waiting on the other side? The audition was for A Love So Beautiful, a youth drama that would go on to become a cultural touchstone, streamed millions of times on Tencent Video. Shen Yu was auditioning to play Chen Xiaoxi, a bubbly, slightly clumsy high school girl who's hopelessly in love with her childhood friend, Jiang Chen. The role required someone who could embody that awkward, earnest charm of first love without tipping into caricature. Watching the tape, you can see why the casting director leaned forward in their chair. Shen Yu doesn't just act the part, she is Chen Xiaoxi. There's a scene where she's supposed to confess her feelings, her voice trembling but her eyes steady, and it's like she's pulling the emotion from some deep, personal place. Maybe she's thinking of her own high school crushes, or maybe she's just that good. Either way, it's magic. Let's make this interactive. Imagine you're the casting director. You've just watched Shen Yu's tape, and you've got two other actresses in the running. One's a seasoned pro with a polished delivery, but her performance feels a little calculated. The other's a newcomer like Shen Yu, but her energy's a bit too manic, missing the quiet vulnerability the role needs. You've got Shen Yu's tape queued up again, her slightly messy hair, her borrowed sweater, the way she trips over a line but recovers with a sheepish grin. What's your call? Do you go with the safe bet, the veteran actress? Or do you take a chance on this unknown who's got something undefinable, something that makes you believe every word she says? Drop your choice in your mind, and let's keep going, because the real casting director made their choice, and it was Shen Yu. The director's cut of this tape, which surfaced years later through a Weibo post by Shen Yu herself, gives us a glimpse into the chaos of that audition day. She wrote about how she got ready in her friend Xiaowen's dorm, borrowing clothes from Xiaowen's roommate, and snapping a quick photo outside a convenience store. That photo, grainy and unposed, is like a Polaroid of her pre-fame life. In the tape, you can see her wearing that same outfit, a loose sweater, maybe a skirt, nothing fancy. It's a stark contrast to the glamorous red carpet looks she'd sport later, but it's perfect for Chen Xiaoxi, a character who's all heart and zero pretense. The director's notes, scribbled in the margins of the script, probably said something like natural or authentic, because that's what Shen Yu brings. She's not performing, she's living. Now, let's zoom out for a second. Why does this tape matter? In an industry obsessed with perfection, airbrushed posters, choreographed interviews, curated social media feeds, this audition tape is a reminder of what raw talent looks like. Shen Yu wasn't a trained actress. She hadn't spent years in acting school or honing her craft in small roles. She was a journalism student who stumbled into the spotlight because someone saw something in her. That's what makes the tape so compelling. It's proof that sometimes, the best actors aren't the ones who've memorized every technique. They're the ones who can make you feel something real. If you could ask Shen Yu one question about that day, what would it be? Would you want to know how nervous she was? Or maybe what she was thinking when the director called cut and gave her that nod of approval? The tape also shows the director's perspective, which is what makes the director's cut so fascinating. There are moments where the camera lingers on Shen Yu's face a little longer than necessary, catching the way her expression shifts from hopeful to heartbroken in a single beat. You can almost hear the director whispering to the cinematographer, "Keep rolling, don't miss this." There's a take where Shen Yu improvises a line, something small, like a quirky remark Chen Xiaoxi would say, and you can see the director's reaction in the way the camera zooms in, as if they've just found gold. These are the moments that don't make it into the final show, but shape the casting decision. They're the reason Shen Yu went from a college dorm to a soundstage, from anonymity to stardom. Let's play another game. You're Shen Yu, standing in that audition room. The director asks you to do the scene again, but this time, they want more vulnerability. You're already exhausted, you've been at it for hours, and you're not sure you've got anything left to give. What do you do? Do you dig deep and pull from a personal memory, maybe a time you felt rejected or scared? Or do you fake it, hoping your technique carries you through? Shinyu, in that moment, chose to dig deep. You can see it in the tape. Her eyes well up, not with forced tears, but with something real, something that makes you want to reach through the screen and tell her it's going to be okay. That's the kind of actor she was, even before she knew it herself. The audition tape didn't just land her the role, it set the stage for her meteoric rise. A Love So Beautiful premiered in November 2017, and Shinyu became an overnight sensation. Fans fell in love with Chin Xiaoxi's awkward charm, her relentless optimism, and the way she made every viewer feel like they could be her best friend. The show's success led to Meteor Garden in 2018, where she played Dong Shankai, another role that cemented her as the queen of youth dramas. But it all started with that tape, with a girl in borrowed clothes pouring her heart out in a cramped audition room. If you could go back and watch that tape with her now, what do you think she'd say? Would she laugh at her nervous tics? Or would she get quiet, remembering how it felt to stand on the edge of her dreams? The director's cut also reveals something about the industry itself. Casting directors are always looking for that it factor, but what does that even mean? For Shinyu, it was her ability to be unapologetically herself. She wasn't trying to be a movie star, she was just trying to tell a story. That authenticity carried her through a Love So Beautiful, through the criticism she faced during Meteor Garden, because remakes are always a lightning rod, and through the ups and downs of her career since. The tape is a time capsule, a reminder that even the biggest stars start somewhere small, somewhere uncertain. Let's wrap this up with one last interactive moment. Imagine you've got the director's cut of Shinyu's audition tape in your hands. You can share it with the world, post it online for every fan to dissect and adore, or you can keep it private, a secret treasure for those who were there. What do you do? If you share it, you're giving fans a chance to see Shinyu at her most vulnerable, to connect with the girl behind the star. If you keep it hidden, you're preserving the magic, letting it stay a myth whispered among industry insiders. There's no wrong answer, but the choice says something about how you see your story. For now, the tape remains a rare artifact, shared in bits and pieces, through Shinyu's own Weibo post and fan discussions online. It's a glimpse into the making of a star, a reminder that behind every polished performance is a moment of raw, unfiltered courage. Shinyu's journey from that audition room to the global stage is a story of talent, luck, and a little bit of magic. And if you ever get the chance to see that tape, really see it, you'll understand why the world fell in love with her. So, what's your takeaway? Are you Team Share, ready to let the world see the real Shinyu? Or Team Keep, holding on to the mystery? Either way, the tape is out there, waiting to be rediscovered, just like Shinyu was all those years ago.